Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Ingham Jones, and thanks for tuning into these thoughts regarding pro boxers entering the Olympics. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave your comments, like the video, share the video, and of course, please subscribe. It's back in 2014, I first read an article. It was about professional fighters taking part of the Olympics. And when I read about it, I felt it was a complete joke then. And in 2016, they've announced, well, I think a few days ago, it's been announced that Olympic boxing is now going to include professional fighters. I thought it was a joke then. I think it's a joke now. In fact, it's making more of a mockery of the sport of boxing. Now, there are a lot of fighters, professional fighters around the world that disagree with the decision, think that when you turn pro, you don't go back to the amateurs. Now, I want to build a couple of scenarios here. Imagine a local lad, somebody you've known, and even you who've boxed before as an amateur, and those who didn't have the money to pay for a top-class trainer, or able to, I know a lot of amateur fighters at the moment, fighters that have been on the GB boxing team that are struggling to make ends meet. But I know one in particular that's got a part-time job and still training as well. And I think to myself that they struggle, and then they get the opportunity to get some sponsorship, to train with other amateurs, and then they get the opportunity to go and fight, get through qualifiers, and then they get to fight, represent their country and go to the Olympics, the pinnacle, not the World Championships, the Olympics, the pinnacle of any amateur boxer's career. And there've been a few amateur boxers, that have come through the ranks and have fought at the Olympics. Specifically, I'm talking from the UK point of view. You've had James DeGale, you've had Amir Khan for 2, you've had Audley Harrison for 3. There's been a few. Some have been successful from amateur, Olympics, and pro, and some have not. That's beside the point. They still had the opportunity to make that move from amateur to pro. Now, just imagine a professional, a young, up-and-coming amateur boxer been training a certain way, a certain style, honing his craft, preparing for months or years for the Olympics. So here he is, or here she is, preparing for the Olympics diligently, doing the things, getting through the qualifiers, grafting, getting himself through, getting to the Olympics, or getting to the Olympics to discover they may have been the best amateur fighter. They may have been predicted to win a silver or gold. And all of a sudden, for example, Sergey Kovalev, Lomachenko, Gennady Golovkin, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, the names go off the top of my head. All these guys decide, you know what, we're gonna go and fight in the amateurs. And imagine a young fighter, the first round of the Olympics, and you have to fight Sergey Kovalev or Gennady Golovkin. There are pro fighters that are intimidated by the fact that these guys in the professional ranks are intimidated by them, let alone the amateur ranks. So just think about that for a second. The other thing is this: why is it that professional fighters should get the opportunity to box at the Olympics, and why now they've made a decision in the year of the Olympic year? Why have they come to the decision now? Why could they not make this decision 4 years ago or 6 years ago, and then made those pro fighters who really want to fight at the Olympics, which is technically fighting for free, who really want to fight at the Olympics, let them fight at the Olympics, but have to go through all the qualifiers. And once they've gone through all the qualifiers and they fight in the Olympics, they are banned for 2 years or 3 years or 4 years or whatever after that, before they fight, or they've got a cool off period of 2 to 3 years before they can turn pro again. I mean, I don't think, in my personal opinion, amateurs are there for a reason. You're going back, you're going backwards. You're not going forward, you're going backwards. If you're so much, if you pro fighters out there that want to fight at the Olympics, listen, you weren't good enough back then to fight for at the Olympics. Some people out there, some professional fighters out there were unfortunate to make the Olympics, whether it be through injury or through illness, or maybe a selection process which didn't work in their favor. Okay, I understand your gripe about that. Tyson Fury is one who felt that he was sidelined, wasn't treated the way he should have been treated, went and turned pro. But look, he's world heavyweight champion. Why does he have to go back and get an Olympic gold medal? But then there are others, from what I understand, by Amir Khan, who has said that he's quite happy to go and fight at the Olympics. So I hear. I don't know if this is another one of his PR gaffes, but he's quite happy to fight at the Olympics, but not for Great Britain. Hear this. He's prepared to go and fight for Pakistan. So the whole thing's is completely shambolic. I don't know. And these fighters, if it's such a problem, if the negotiations around the table are so difficult, and you want X amount of money to fight, you're squabbling over money and what you need to get paid for as a pro fighter, then hold on. Why are you prepared to go and fight at the Olympics for free? Don't get it. It makes no sense. I think it's out of order. I think it's short-sighted. And I don't know if whoever's made this decision is getting money under the table. But here's this as well. I think the professional fighter who's got a little bit of money behind them as well has the ability to have advantages that a pro fighter, an amateur fighter doesn't have. So that's another thing. And if the pro fighter does fight in the Olympics, how does that affect his professional record? And here's another thing. There have been pro fighters that have fought in the prize fighter. I remember one fight in particular, Herbie Hyde. It was just the speed of the amateurs was just too much. The prize fighter, which is more based on the amateur sort of style, to just rushing and throwing loads of punches and trying to get as many punches off as possible within a 3-round period. How many pro fighters will be able to adapt to that? One fighter I think that would do well, no disrespect, if they were to turn to the amateurs, would be George Groves, simply because within 3 rounds is pretty dangerous. But on a serious note, I don't think it's right. I think there's a reason why amateurs are amateurs. I think there's a reason why pros are pros. And I don't think the two should cross over. I think whoever made the decision should get lined up, and every professional fighter there is should each in turn throw uppercuts and hooks to that person's chin. And that's how mad I feel about the whole thing. And okay, it's a good stance by the WBC saying, well, if any of our champions decide to fight in the Olympics, we'll ban them for 2 years. Hey, there have been drug cheats that have been banned for 2 or 3 years and have come back and still fighting now. What's his name? The guy, the plaster of Paris. What's his name? Oh, Margarito. Got banned for 2 years, or was it less than 2 years? Forgive me if I got it all wrong, but it's not right. At this point, all I'm waiting to hear now is that performance enhanced drugs will be allowed in sport. That's all I'm waiting to hear, because that's about it, really, I think. Coming back to the Amir Khan thing and him fighting for Pakistan, a lot of people take issue with Amir Khan for the things he says. But for you to fight for GB and then to fight King Dylan, remember when he fought King Dylan in that rematch that Frank Warren put together? Remember that? And he beat King Dylan, and we never saw King Dylan after that to win. Was it the gold? I can't remember. In an exhibition tournament. What was all that about? And now he's going to go and represent Pakistan. Why would you do that? I don't get it. I don't understand it. And as much as it's nice for WBC to do it, I think personally, professional boxing boards around the world need to put their foot down and say, if you decide to go and fight in the Olympics, whether it be the British, Commonwealth, European, and world governing bodies all step in and say no. And if you decide to turn back to amateur, we will revoke your license, or better still, you know what? We will erase your boxing record as a pro, and you have to start all over again. So either ban them indefinitely, or take away their record and make them start all over again from scratch, like any amateur would have to do turning pro. But anyway, to summarize this, I think that if pros were going to fight in the Olympics, I think they should have had to qualify the same way that the amateurs have had to qualify, going down the same route. No special requirements. They do the same thing as the amateurs do. I think that they should be barred from boxing pro afterwards, or if they are going to come and box pro afterwards, then they should have their professional record revoked and start all over again as any amateur would. And I just think the whole thing's a mockery. But I think when I believed that was going to happen is when they started to take the head guards off of the amateur fighters and let them box with no head guard. I think that was the beginning of the end of amateur boxing as we knew it. And now we've got professional fighters taking part. What would make me greatly happy is that our pro fighters get beat by amateur fighters. That would be great in one way, because they should have no business being in there. But on the other side of things, imagine somebody like a Sergey Kovalev fighting in the amateurs and getting beat by an amateur. Imagine that. They're not even qualifying to the next round of the Olympics. Then we start questioning probably the standard of our professional fighters. Things are nonsense. So if they were going to go about doing this, they should have done this, put this in place 4-5 years ago. Why now? And spare a thought again for all those amateur fighters that have been preparing to fight in the Olympics, and now they've got to sit around wondering whether Manny Pacquiao is going to be part of the Olympics. Terrible. Those are my thoughts on the subject. I don't agree with it. I think it's stupid, pretty senseless, and I think all world governing bodies, all European governing bodies, all local governing bodies in boxing need to step in and start putting sanctioning down, and not just the WBC, the IBF, the WBA, the IBO, all the world titles there are. They need to step in and say something as well. And whoever was the brains behind trying to put Olympic boxing and professional boxing into Olympic boxing, I really would like to see who this person is, who the brains behind it is, and their experience within the world of boxing. Those are my thoughts. Love to hear what you think. I'm out. Take care.